I'm Marcus Conway, and I'm just here to show you my football camp business. I'd like to start with £20,000 for 20% of the business. So my vision, in a year's time, I'd like to expand the business, not just around the local area, but say the whole county, like the northwest. Not only that, I'd like to offer places to disabled children, so offer blind schools, places for kids who've got missing limbs, deaf football, things like that. So it's more of an opportunity for other people, not just able females and males. The purpose of the business isn't just to make a profit, it's to help the community and help people develop. So if the kids came to my camp, I could help them become better sportsmen and women, but I'd develop them as people, so physically, socially, mentally, and improve them in every aspect of life. The rewards wouldn't just be the money either, it'd be knowing that I'm helping it. So say if I start the camp somewhere near and the crime rate was high, and got the kids off the streets and helped them, maybe the crime rate would decrease, so I'd get the publicity for that, and it'd be known as something that was helping the community and like the area as well. I myself manage the camp, so I'll have the final say in everything. So the advantage of that is I won't have to pay no one to do the job, I can do it myself, and the standards would be high, so I wouldn't let nothing go past me that I didn't agree with. Everything would be to the highest possible standard. The risks are just, everything has a risk really, so overspending, not meeting standards, like I said, but that's not really one because I'm going to be the manager. Staff, if they wouldn't have enough staff, like some called in sick, I'd have to get emergency cover, but that's just the normal risk of any other business. The competition isn't just childcare, isn't just football camps, it's all different types of childcare, like nannies, nurseries, kids clubs, anything like that can take my business, not just nurseries. So I'll need various skills to be able to run my business, so like financial, time management, communication skills, and I need to have an open mind because not everyone will work the same way I do. So we need to be open to how not only staff but some kids might be different types of learners, so I'd have to change how I taught something so they could grasp it.
Just before you go, what financial skills would you need?
So like budgeting. So like if I had, say if you give me the 20,000, I'd need to get a facility, get insurance, equipment, stuff like that. So I'd need to be able to put a set amount aside for like individual things instead of just spending it without thinking. So legal structure, I'd need to get contracts for all the staff. So like their shifts, their pay, rate of pay. Not only that, the children would need to sign them. So like they need to follow the rules and accept the consequences if they don't. So like they could be removed from the camp if they carry on not behaving themselves. The public liability insurance as well. So if anyone or anything gets hurt or damaged, I'm covered. So I won't have to pay out of my own pocket.
How much is that around, do you know?
It's about £1,000 a year.
£1,000 a year.
I could get advice from family, friends and banks and other businessmen. So for example, Dave Rowan, Dave Mack, who own the college, I could speak to them about setting up, because football camps sort of similar, so I could speak to them what procedures they went through and what things they did to get up and started, and just ask for help there. Finance, same sort of thing, get it from banks, family, friends. But other than the bank, I'd come here to you, but if I didn't, I'd go to the bank because it's a lot safer. Like I can pay, say if I borrowed £1,000, I can pay it off in set amount that I can afford instead of borrowing off like a friend who would have to give it in one lump sum. So it would be easier, more realistic. So financial analysis. So for this, I've got to make sure that my business breaks even, so there's no point to me putting £1,000 into it and then getting £200 back, because then I've lost £800. So if I put 1,000 in, I at least need to get 1,000 back to break even. Anything over the £1,000 I put in is profit, which goes into my pocket or goes back into the business.
How long is it going to take before you start making profit?
For the set amount of children I'm looking at, it'll take around a month and a half, 2 months.
Start to break even.
To break even.
Yeah, okay.
So the market research, I'm going to look into all the businesses around the area, you know, how many kids they take in, how much they charge, what hours they're open. So I could use primary and secondary research. So primary research is like going, doing surveys and asking people face to face. Secondary research is going into like libraries or on the internet and finding out that way.
You started that yet?
Yeah.
Around this area?
There's 2 nurseries which do 3 to 5, like preschool, and then there's 1 kids club down the road.
For disabled kids or
No, there's nothing. That's why I wanted to expand it and eventually do disabled children off of them places. So it's like a gap in the market I can go into.
What's that also known as, a gap in the market?
A niche.
A niche.
So marketing is what I'm selling. So I'm just selling childcare at a good price. So say if a nursery was charging £5 an hour, I could offer £4 an hour, or even £5. It's the same, but kids are more likely to want to come and play football than being minded in like a nursery where they can't enjoy themselves as much. So it'd be the same, it's just childcare, but I could develop them more as a person and sportsman than a nursery or a childminder could.
So how much are you going to cost? How much is it going to cost the parents to come for a day?
I was looking, and the kids club down the road is £5 an hour, and that's open for 6 hours, so that's £30. So I was looking to charge £25 for 6 hours, which works out cheaper. So I'm losing money in the respect that they're going to get more for the same amount of time, but more people are more likely to come to me and spend less money for better.
Okay.
So promotion, I could use the nursery down the road, just use the internet and posters around the area, so I could use that, but I could also use like social networks like Facebook and Twitter, and with that, say if you clicked on the link, I'd give them a promotional code. So for the first week of them coming, instead of it being £25, it could be £20 or £15, depending on how many children you bring. The timing, I've set out a 6-month window to get my business underway, so starting in January to June, just so in the first 2 months I could look at the facilities where I could get and the staff to move in. Then the next other 2 months, so that's 4 months, I could start setting up the building, you know, getting it right, getting safety procedures and everything done so kids can move into it. After that, I could get the staff and the equipment to finally be able to move in. So the 6 months I'd need is when the money would go into it really. And after that, I want to get it ready for the summer holidays, because that's when I'll make the most business, when kids will need minding and parents and in work.
Any certain stuff you need to get?
I need to get
disabled people.
I need to get specialist care workers to work with them, but that'd only be eventually when I expand. So it could be 6 months to a year down the line. I'd need to get people with CRB checks to make sure they could work with children, and qualified first aiders, so if anything did happen, they could see the kids.
How many staff are you looking to take on?
It's 1 member of staff to every 6 children. So say if I had 60 children, I'd need 10 members of staff. I was looking at 50 children within over the first 6 weeks they're open, so the school holidays. So I'd need at least 5 members of staff, but it could get extra, so could bring volunteers in, you know, just to help out, just to make up the numbers, so we don't have to pay them as well. So I'm keeping more money that way instead of buying.
Okay. So the final slide.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, just a few questions quickly. What age groups are you targeting at?
I was looking at starting it for 5-year-olds upwards till they were starting high school. So most kids in high school are able to look after themselves at 11, 12, 13 onwards, aren't they? So even the first year high school could come in, because they're more likely to come in, like the parents might not trust them at home or might not want them to be alone at home. So I can
So you're targeting childcare then? Like
yeah.
Young children. Okay, so you said about the price will be £125 a week.
No, £25. Yeah, sorry.
£125 a week, £25 a day for 5 days. What's your cost for the week then? For a child coming, how much is it going to cost you per child? So I want to see how much profit I'm going to make from a child.
Well, paying the wages, the minimum wage is £4.93 for an 18-year-old. So most 18-year-olds who apply for the job without the level 1 coaching badge, so a minimum is £5 an hour, their wage. Now look, 50 kids are coming, so 5 times 50 is £250. So say if I have 5 members of staff and they work,
That'll be 150 quid.
so it's £100
£100
profit
a day.
a day.
Okay.
And you're
Thank
getting
you.
20% of that.